Hi, this is Adolf here. I'm a senior colorist, and today I'm going to talk about part two of handling indie film or short film in post. I'll be very brief here and quick here, and I'll tell you what needs to be done to take your short film to a cinematic level. So, what is my color correction process for a short film or a indie film or even a feature film or sometimes commercial film? Now, when I'm grading a commercial film, I am a different colorist, and when I'm grading a feature film, I'm a different colorist. Commercial has to be glossy, neat, clean, and feature film has to have texture. Sometimes the DP might not want a film look, he might want a neat, clean look, or you can also call it the electronic look. So it is essentially the battle between electronic or digital versus chemical. Now I was very fortunate to be mentored by one of the best colorists in the world, and Walter Volpetto. And what I have been taught, I use it for grading everything that I get. I do not just apply a film LUT at the end and just master it out. No, I do not do that. The process that I take is very different, and it starts like this. So first I take all the scenes, I divide all the scenes of a short movie or an indie film into groups. We are mimicking the color timing process. We are imagining we are in 1960s, 70s, 80s. So after you identify your each scene and in which scene, which negative you want, you are going to move to the next stage. Now remember, your image is still going to look washed out, but it is going to have the negative effect of the negative. Post this, I would be asking you, do you want me to print it on Kodak 2383 or do you want me to print it on Kodak 2393 or a Fuji? So you have your negative here in the beginning of the pipeline, you have your positive here or a print in the at the end of the pipeline, and in between you do the color grading. So my preference and my way of color grading is using color timing or printer light. I would not like to touch the gamma. I would not like to pull out the skin tones first, because I have been taught that if you pull out the skin tones, you change the contrast ratio of the DP. So my first node is the balance node, and I'm going to use printer lights to balance everything. Now I'm mimicking the photochemical process, right? Now, if you have time, budget, and you're very accurate and you love film, then we can do film profiling also. Now, what does film profiling do? We have gathered various negative from various places. So to make it look film like, so to make it look like a film, I would be first step is doing is matching the tonal response. Suppose if you have shot on airy, then I would be matching the tonal response of the film to airy. After we match the tonal response of the film to airy, we would then match the gamut. Matching the gamut is the second stage. And after matching the gamut, we'll play with the curves and we will use split toning with the curves. So now you have your negative film, now you have your positive film. In between you're grading using printer lights. In between you're making all your color decision based on printer lights. Now after the balance node, there will be relighting and there will be split toning. Now your negative already has a split tone, your positive already has some split tone, but you can still do split toning. You can do split toning after you have matched the tonal response and the gamut. After you have completely graded your film, I believe it is only 50% of what you have done. The other 50% part comes in texturing. Texturing is a beautiful part, and you can feel the texture by your eyes. So there are various elements in texturing. You can build your own texture nodes. You can build your own texture power grade. So you can add the following things in texturing: grain, but the grain has to be, you have to take a decision if you want to add a negative grain or a positive grain. Here we have taken a call whether we are applying a negative grain or a positive grain. Post this is halation. After halation, you're going to match the lens characteristic, and the lens characteristics is called MTF. So MTF was initially, you might feel MTF reduces the resolution, but it has its own beauty. Like Panavision lens have the MTF. So even if you might shoot digital, you might use Panavision lens which has MTF and it has its own beauty. Now what are we essentially doing here? We are essentially trying to mimic the capture behavior of a feature film, right? So your coloring part is over. You are now in the texturing part. In the texturing part, you add MTF, halation, grain, gate view, flicker, and other film aesthetics, which I'm going to discuss later. You add push and pull, gate view. Now what I do is I have a film sample of all of these. So I match exactly to these using a film sample. So I match my digital to my film sample, which I have captured, which I have purchased from places, and then I make power grades of all of these things, and then I apply so that I can customize it. So quickly before closing, I'd like to give you a few tips or pointers to make your short film, indie film, or a series look cinematic. Now you might either choose to go the video way, neat, clean, digital, electronic way, or you might choose to go chemical way, photochemical, which is simply fantastic. We are open to both of the options and we give you both. It's not like that we just stick to photochemical look, but the difference is beautiful. Now, like I said, grading is only 50%. The other 50% is texturing. I'm going to talk in detail about texturing, grading. Texturing makes the film complete whole. Texturing is a process that you cannot avoid. So if you come to me with a short film or an indie film, I follow two different approaches. I follow different workflow, which is the I have one department which is the grading department, and other department is the texturing department. So the file from the grading, so the DRP after the grade will go to the texturing department, and then you might choose from film aesthetics what you like, what you don't like, and what you want to add, what you want to retain, and what you don't want to retain. Even you want to do a neat, clean area out, I'm open to it. Sometimes mostly people do an area and a film out. They mix area and film. We are open to it. We can experiment with your short film. I would like to grade your film in a traditional and a modern process. So I would like will add a negative. I will add a positive, and in between I'll be grading using printer lights and color timing. Now we have a separate DCTL or a separate plugin for printer lights or printer points. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll be explaining the entire post process in detail to you with diagrams and charts. Till then, thank you.